My name is Monte. I was born Mexico, right across the border in the now booming city of Tijuana, Baja California. Our family was growing fast and job opportunities for Dad were limited, so we left home, left Mexico, and first crossed the border, La Línea, to the US of A when I was a baby. Dad would swap the decks of the San Diego Bay and the decks of, not the San Diego Bay, the decks of the ships of the San Diego Bay. Or him and Mom would pick fruits and vegetables or whatever was in season in the numerous fields of El Norte. Our new home was now South Central LA because rent was cheap. But my dad couldn't let go of the pull from the mother country. He would get a sudden impulse to go back home across that border to Mexico. Often I would accompany him. He liked to leave super early, 3 a.m. when it was cold and dark, to beat the tráfico. I'd be wearing my little wool coat, little cap with ear flaps, sitting in the front seat, no seat belt. My view was of the glove compartment and looking over at my dad. A medias de la noche te soñaba abrazándote conmigo. Dad's halfway point was Oceanside. So we'd make a pit stop, load up on potato chips and candy until we reached the Mexican border. Now, back in the day, well, just like today, when you get to the Mexican border, it's like going through a rolling stop sign. You don't have to show any ID, any passports, any badges, nothing. I always wonder, how much do these guys get paid? But as soon as we crossed the border, my dad, everything was different. It was like the town was jumping. Camotes! Pecero! Cars were honking, the smell of tacos a vapor, pan dulce, dust, diesel, and tequila. And my dad was different too. It was like he came alive. He knew Tijuana like the back of his hand, and driving through those unpaved streets was liberating. He was a free spirit. Hey, chamaco! Tráeme un paquete de Lopez Mateos. He'd trust a kid with 35 cents to bring a pack of L&M cigarettes and keep the change. I was jealous of that kid. Ya mero llegamos. Then he'd hire a couple of musicians. Oye, muchachos, ¿cuánto por todo el día? Sale, súbanse. Cerveza. These guys would play his favorite playlist live in the back seat for hours. We'd visit my grandparents, old friends, hang out with my cousins. Then you'd hear, ¿Qué, Latinas? Young man selling gelatins in a little glass case. My dad, ¿Cuánto por todas? He'd buy the whole thing. The kids in the street would mob the lucky vendor. A dead dog on the street, smelling up the whole neighborhood. There was no animal control. Ahorita arreglamos eso. My dad would tie the dog to the back of the Chevy, and I'd watch as the canine disintegrated all the way to the border of the town. Come Sunday, after our goodbyes, we'd make our way back through the gauntlet of vendors peddling churros, sombreros, and keepsakes while we waited our turn in line for the U.S. Border Patrolman at the gate, chowing down on a virote con queso and Coca-Cola. Seemed like everyone wanted to cross the border to America. I just wanted to stay in Tijuana and play with my cousins. Looked like Dad was still buzzing from touching base on that Mexican aroma. Or maybe he was just ambivalent about returning home to el otro lado. A medias de la noche te soñaba. Or maybe he was trying to keep cool because he had put 2 of his brothers in the trunk of his '59 Chevy. A medias de la noche te soñaba. What country are you from? Los Angeles. Passport? Green card. What are you bringing from Mexico? Any fruits? Vegetables? Oh, no, señor, nada. How about in the trunk? La cajuela. My dad's tongue was tied. I can see the wheels turning. I burst out. Just tequila, sir. How many bottles? Just one for me. Cute kid. Okay, go ahead. Thus I found my calling. I could speak English, Spanish. I found myself translating for my relatives, friends, people that made it over. I had my dad's charm, and I could get all kinds of little jobs. I'd shine shoes, sweep up the hair at the barbershop, run errands for the women who could never get a break from the sweatshops or the car wash. This poor guy, Arturo, had just arrived with absolutely nothing. And he knocked on our door and asked for something to eat. My dad invited him into our table, and he let him stay in the shed in the back of our yard for almost over a year. He worked his ass off until he was able to move out, bring his own family over to El Norte. One time, Arturo let me use his shed to get laid. A medias de la noche te soñaba. I got this one guy a job with a catering company. He ended up meeting a gay rich dude who took him in, and now he's part of the family. The Vanderbilt family. See? That's what I love about this country. Anything is possible. And that's why everyone wants to come here. It's never going to stop. Because these hard-working people are doing work that we don't want to do. We need them. And they need us. I'm just doing my share to help the economy in this country. I mean, I don't cross them over. That would be illegal. But if they manage to make it across, I get them a place to stay at. Temporary home. Make a phone call. Have some food, I'll cash a check, send money to their relatives. I help them when I help myself. It's the American way, right? Hey, I don't blame these people. If I had a family to feed and next door was streets of gold, hell, I'd cross too, illegal or legal. What about all those people that wait in line, you say? You're right. That's right. They're doing the right thing. That's the way it should be done. But desperate people do desperate things. Come on, man. We all have our agenda, including me. I mean, we have the people who work at holding back the caravan, and you have the caravan of people that keep coming, leaving home and looking for a home. I do wonder, though, if those people will yearn for the mother country like my dad did. Sometimes I still cross the border back to Tijuana. My mother will say, Monty, I have to go see your tia Luz before she dies. And I pick her up at 3 a.m. in the cold, dark morning to beat the tráfico. A medias de la noche te soñaba. And when I cross that border back to Tijuana, Mexico, I remember my dad. And I get a tinge of nostalgic magic. But come Sunday, after we say our goodbyes, I'm sure glad I have that global entry pass that gets me back on that fast lane home.